Hey, sociology students. We said at the beginning of this unit that there were 5 main social institutions we would talk about, and today we are going to cover religion. All right, so the institution of religion. It's a system of roles and norms organized around the sacred realm that binds people together. All right, so sociologists will define it as the system of roles and norms organized around the sacred realm that binds people together. There are all sorts of different types of religion in our community, in our state, in our country, and in the entire world. And we're going to talk about a few of the main ones today, and more importantly, how religion affects people, everyday life, and overall society. All right, so the functions of religion. We're going to talk about 4 main functions of religion. The first is that it's a social cement. Okay, what that means is it holds people together. People of common values and beliefs, and it physically brings people together in worship. Obviously, we saw with COVID-19 this past spring, that changed a little bit, but overall, you go to church on Sunday morning or Saturday evening or whenever you happen to go, and it physically brings people together as well for coffee afterwards, maybe some treats. The second thing is that it offers emotional support. So oftentimes people turn to religion in times of crisis or trouble, but those same crises, illnesses, troubles could also make them turn away from religion, right? And you question everything around you, including your religion. Okay, so 2 functions of religion: social cement, emotional support, as well as norm reinforcement. Okay, so secular, which means non-religious norms, have consequences in this limited life. Religious norms have consequences for eternity. All right, so example, most major laws come from religious concepts. So if you're familiar with the 10 Commandments, or you think about the 10 Commandments, a lot of the laws we have here in the United States, can be traced back to religious concepts like thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. All right, so norm reinforcement. The fourth is life cycle events. Okay, life cycle events acknowledges key life events. Those could be rituals and traditions. And religion really reinforces their importance. An example could be marriage, could be death. It could, in some cases, be puberty, right? Quinceañeras and such things. So it reinforces the importance of those key life events. So, norm reinforcement and life cycle events. Next, so those are some of the functions of religion. Now we're going to look at Weber here. So, predestination. John Calvin believes that only a certain amount of people can enter heaven, and that there are signs given by God, and economic success is the best sign. So he believes that the best sign of going to heaven is economic success. That's one thing we'll talk about as we go through these slides, is there are so many different opinions on different religions, what heaven means, what heaven looks like, what any sort of afterlife looks like, or is there an afterlife? Masses of people work hard for economic success. In other parts of the world and in religions, they work hard for that economic success because they believe it's the key to heaven. Okay, so just some other perspectives here. Now we're going to talk about 2 sociological theories. So we'll start with the symbolic interaction theory. It allows individuals to better answer, who am I? Okay, so the symbolic interaction theory believes that religion helps people answer the question, who am I? And that's the primary means of identifying self, okay, as well as the sacred meaning and symbols of, let's say, crosses, Bibles, and what those mean to certain people of certain religions. Then we have the conflict theory, okay? Karl Marx's conflict theory, that religion is the opioid of the people. He believes that it's a tool of oppression for the masses. Okay, Karl Marx believes that religion brainwashes the masses, which he refers to as the working class, into a passive state. So, what Karl Marx is saying here with this conflict theory is that religion brainwashes the working class into accepting the role that they're at because of a higher power. So he believes that without religion, people would be more likely to try to attain a higher class. Okay, so symbolic interaction theory in religion and the conflict theory. All right. Now we're going to look at theoretical perspectives of religion. Furback believes that God is a reflection of people's need to know. He believes it's an inverse relation between religion and science. Therefore, Furbeck believes the more we learn through science, the less we need religion, because people seek religion, in his opinion, when they need to know things, whether that's about DNA, diseases, COVID-19. But the US is a huge exception. The United States as a whole really keeps separate science, technology, and then their places of worship in God. Okay, we'll talk more about that in a little bit. All right. Now we'll look at the 4 philosophical foundations of religion. The first being simple supernaturalism. Say that 5 times fast. Simple supernaturalism is not focused on gods or conscious spirits. The supernatural forces that affect our lives, however, these forces are not conscious. Okay? An example of that being luck. Okay, so 4 philosophical foundations. A great example of that supernaturalism would be luck. Okay? Animism, excuse me, is the conscious living spirits operating around us. But the spirits are not gods. So a great example would be the ghost dance, which is in American Indian cultures. Okay, there's a painting of that right here. Okay, so that there are living spirits operating around us, but those spirits aren't gods, but they are to be respected. All right. Now we'll look at theism. Okay, that's probably, that root word is something you've heard before. So monotheism means one God, monotheism, one God. Examples of people who practice monotheism would be Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Then there's polytheism. Poly means multiple, okay, multiple gods. That's most often seen in the ancient Greeks and Romans. Then there are abstract ideals, okay, focus achieving a high state of consciousness or being, right? So it's not on gods or spirits, but yourself. Uses religious rituals or other practices to achieve heightened consciousness. An example of that might be the Buddhist pursuit of nirvana, right? To that state of nirvana. Okay, so that rounds out the 4 philosophical foundations: simple supernaturalism, animism, theism, and abstract ideals. Excuse me. So religious structures. A denomination claim the allegiance of a large segment of a society's population. Okay, it's clearly separate from the state or country, well established and respected, generally tolerant of other faiths. Okay, great examples of denominations in the United States here would be Lutheran, Catholic, and Baptist. Okay, those are denominations of the larger Christian or Christianity. All right. So it's interesting looking around the world at official religions. Church and state are so closely linked that they may have the same leaders and laws. Generally, in these places, These particular religions are intolerant of other faiths since they are often seen as a threat. A good example would be Iran and the Vatican City. Like the Vatican City is run by Pope Francis, okay, both religiously and state-wise. So, religious structures continued. A sect is a religious organization that stands apart from the larger society and forms exclusive groups. That's how we will define it in sociology. It's a split from a denomination. Okay, so back in the day, you could be at war with the mainstream society, which is why you'd want to break off, such as being emotional, being spontaneous. Sects normally require a demanding of their followers and extreme forms of worship and control. Typically intolerant of other religions, not always. As an example highlighted below here, Baptist, Presbyterian, Jehovah's Witnesses, they all started out as a sect before becoming a major denomination. Right? I know maybe the structure seem confusing, but I think our activity today will help with that. Then there's a cult. Okay, cult is technically a religious structure that's loosely organized and short-lived, meaning little or nothing in common with conventional religion, even though leaders may believe they are divinely inspired. Okay, so divinely godlike. There are few rational doctrines. A great example, one that we talked about in class, was Jim Jones, Jonestown down in South America. Astrology is another really good example of a cult in religious structures. All right, religion in America. We'll take a look here at this pie chart. It's broken down here by colors. You can take a closer look on your own. But roughly 80% of our country identifies themselves as practicing some form of Christianity. Okay, roughly 80% of our country is Christian. So, religion in the United States. The vast majority of Americans have some religious commitment or faith. Just some stats for you from 2014. 90% believe in God, 80% are Christian, 10% practice various religions, 10% are atheists, 27% believe in reincarnation, and 1% of the United States believe they are going to hell. There is no official religion in the United States, which most other countries in the world do declare an official religion. However, the United States does not, right? We really pride ourselves on our Constitution and freedom of religion, freedom of speech, people being able to make those individual choices on their own in what religion they'd like to follow. Oftentimes, religion correlates with other social characteristics such as education, income, and voting. Okay, so those kind of get intertwined there. The United States does have, even though we're 80% Christian, we do have a tremendous amount of religious diversity, even if those numbers aren't, very high. The United States is highly tolerant of religious diversity. Okay, so saying like overall, we promote individual choice and that people are, if they have a different religion than you, it's respected. There are 2,630 different denominations, sects, etc. in the United States. Overall, the United States is probably pretty intolerant of atheists. It seems like the United States likes when people follow something or believe in some higher power. So sociologists feel like overall maybe intolerant of atheists. There is an increasing secularization, because hospitals and universities have lost their religious affiliation, right? So like I went to the College of St. Scholastica in Duluth, and that is a Catholic college. But I am Catholic, ironically, but the majority of people that go to St. Scholastica are not practicing Catholics. Where way back in the day when the school first started, only Catholics, would go to that school. So that's just one example. As well as religion itself. Population kind of tells religion what to do, like the mainstream media. So if religion doesn't adapt to some of the social changes, social uprising, people tend to walk away. An example of that is female clergy and openly gay clergy. I'll pick on the Catholic Church because I am Catholic, and in the early 2000s, they were facing a lot of heat for their opposition to gay marriage. And just last month, I think Pope Francis, the current Pope, spoke about how the Catholic Church and the Vatican was working on being much more open to gay and lesbian and LGBTQ people all over the world. All right, and then individual adherence. You pick and choose which religion doctrines they hold on to. All right, so a lot of individuality there. All right, that is it. I know the religion in the United States was kind of packed. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Other than that, have a great day.